Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm creating a very grungy looking art journal page, and therefore I'm using a special technique with tissue paper and Brushos. The tissue paper I'm using for the background was colored with Brushos, and I did this by wetting the tissue and then sprinkling the Brushos on it, and then I let that dry completely. I used the tissue by separating the layers from each other, and then I just pick one layer and glue it down with gel medium. What I also do is I add some crinkles to the tissue when I glue it down. This creates a very organic texture on the background. The little handmade journal I'm working in is a tag journal, and I made it with a tab binding technique I learned from Dina Wakely. And I have a tutorial on how I make such a tag journal. This is linked up in the top right corner info box of your video screen. And as always, there is a link to my blog in the description box where I have posted some photos of the finished project. I let this dry completely before I remove the excess of the tissue paper. Now I go in with some Crackle paste and I just apply it with my spatula. I don't cover the whole pages, I just cover some areas. It would also be very nice if you use a stencil to apply the Crackle paste. The Crackle paste I'm using is from my online art supply store, and it's its own brand, and I'm not very happy with it because it doesn't crack really good. You need to apply a very thick layer to get good cracks. So this is also the reason why I don't use it with a stencil, because the layer would be too thin. I let the Crackle paste dry overnight, and you have to make sure that it's 100% dry. Now I go on top with my black gelato, and I use a little bit of water and wipe it into the cracks of the paste. What you can also use instead of the gelato would be another art crayon, or you can even use a new color crayon. I work it in really good so that a lot of black paint runs into the cracks. Now I'm using a baby wipe and remove the gelato, and you can see that the black color only remains in the cracks. And I think that gives you a really grungy texture, and also the black color of the gelato that you are working around on your page will remain in some areas, and that's also giving you a very organic look. I just recognized that I missed the area on the top right, and I just do the same here too. What I really like about that technique with the Brushos on the tissue paper is if you use Brushos directly on the background and then go over with any paste, the Brushos will bleed completely into that paste, so you don't get any contrast. And if you use the Brushos on the tissue together with the gel medium, they get fixed and they don't bleed completely into your paste. I destroyed my page a little when I tear off the tissue the last time, and here I just try to repair it a little bit. I heat set that with my heat tool, and now I go in to add some grungy stamping. I'm using stamps from my brand new Mixed Media Marks stamp set. I'm using Archival Ink for the stamping. For my main image, I decided to use the grungy butterfly number 3, and I've stamped it to watercolor paper, and I'm using the Arteza real brush pens to color it in. I heard a lot of times that the Arteza brush pens don't work on every kind of watercolor paper, and that is true. The best paper for them to use is the Canson XL, and also their premium watercolor paper works really nice with the brush pens. I cut out the butterfly and I adhered it together with some black thread to the right side of my pages. I'm using the thread that I have something to sit on for him. I decided that I want to have some black splatters on the page. Of course, I should have done this before, but as I forgot it, I just masked off the butterfly and then I sprinkled some acrylic ink all over the pages. To finish off the page, I'm adding a sentiment, and I've embossed that stamp in white to black cardstock and then cut up the words and glued them to the page. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope we see us next time. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye!